we are going to discuss MES-082, that is kind of growth and development. Sharing my PPT. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before going to further discussion, let us talk, let us interact to each other based on our previous discussions. So as far as education is concerned, what do you mean growth? What is growth?
Uh, Growth is some progressive increase in size.
Increasing in
Increase in size.
size.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
Also, some sort of structural physiological changes.
But that is taken place already as a size.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other? Hmm. Pratibhaji.
Sir, growth is not continuous process.
Yes. It's attain some kind of position after getting that level. It also some term of decreasing also in decreasing terms also.
Yes, sir.
So what is development?
Sir, development is continuous process. It is सर कंटिन्यूस प्रोसेस है मतलब हमारे फिजिकल चेंज ये हमारा टिल द पूरी लाइफ होती रहती है डेवलपमेंट.
It starts from birth till the end of life.
यस.
Yeah, Chitrarekha,
जी
anything?
जी सर, डेवलपमेंट जो है वो क्वालिटेटिव है और ग्रोथ जो है वो क्वांटिटेटिव है. ग्रोथ इज द पार्ट ऑफ डेवलपमेंट.
Yes.
Also, it's a acquisition in various skills. Progressive acquisition in various skills.
What for development or growth?
Development for development, sir.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
सर डेवलपमेंट ऑफ बोथ फिजिकल एंड मेंटल कंटिन्यू.
Mental and physical. Yes.
यस सर.
Anybody? और कोई? So let us discuss our today's topic. The topic is growth and development. Unit first of your study material MES-082. So in this particular unit, we are going to discuss what is the meaning of growth as well as development and what are the basic principles of growth and development, what are the different aspects of development, the factors affecting both growth and development, and we will learn in this topic how to develop a board frame of activities for our all over development of the child. So first we will take what is the meaning. concept. See, the growth terms refer dimensional augmentation, cellular multiplication, and you rightly said it is a kind of quantitative change. Change in size, weight, numbers, height, size में height, even your fattiness, small, taller, these all comes under the growth. And growth lead to increase in size of individual brought by the interaction between there are two multiple factors which affect the growth. One is heredity and second is environment. We will discuss heredity and environment in detail after some time. But first we should be aware that there are two factors which influence, which directly or indirectly affect the growth. Here, what is heredity? Heredity means the trait and knowledge and many things comes from through chromosome from our one generation to another generation. Whereas environment is a kind of factor that influence the child other than heredity, and which includes the kind of nature, home environment, school, your peer group, family, your friend circle. These are all comes under the environment of the child. There are two important definitions which categorize the what is growth and what is development. Crow and Crow, very well renowned name. He was a kind of sociologist and he has given very good structure. He defined growth as to structure and psychological change, while development refer to growth as well as change in behavior. Means growth talk about structural and psychological, whereas development referred change in behavior, change in traits, change in even knowledge. The second, F.B. Harlock also defined it, a development as a progressive series of change. It always in the mode of progressive, because there is no maximum level of development, and that occurs in an orderly, predictable pattern as a result of maturation and experience. Means development comes after the kind of maturation and kind of experience. So by these above two definitions, it is clear that development is qualitative, whereas growth is quantitative. Changes in the body, in the behavior of the child. So it should be very clear when we talk about development, then it should refer kind of qualitative qualities of the child, and when we talk growth, then we should be aware that we are discussing about the quantitative growth. Growth means what is the size of the child, what is the height of the child, what is the even weight of the child. So when we are talking these parameters, then we are talking about kind of growth. Further, development represents change in an individual from its origin to its death. Means development take places. Development is the process which starts from birth to death. but more particularly the progressive change which take place from origin to maturity. It's a development also says that when we say that kind of maturity level is there, then we should say that there is a level of development. So it can be measured by the maturity as well as experiences only. This is a table which distinguishes what is growth and what is development. If we see the growth, it refers to changes in the particular aspect of the body, and that is size in body. When we talk development, it refers all our changes resulting in improved functioning of individual. See, growth is a narrow concept as well as development is a wider and comprehensive term, because development takes many parameters, many things to define what is development. Because if we talk about behavior, then behavior is the kind of complex uh, traits, complex parameters of the child. Growth does not continue throughout the life. If you see the example, the height of the child, it increase, but at the time that never increase and it's stable. So growth does not continue throughout the life. It stops when within the attainment of maturity or attainment of the level. That is the normal growth of organism. Stop when it attains maturity. Whereas development is a continuous process, does not end with the attainment of maturity, because there is no maturity level no maturity level defined of development. Means development is a continuous and never ending process. The change produced by growth are observable. हम इनको देख सकते हैं. We can measure. For example, if you see the height, then we can measure what is the height of child after 1 year, after 2 year, after 3 year, after 4 year. We can measure it. But whereas development, it cannot be observable and cannot be see the changes occurs in the child as a result socialization or social development. This means we can just analyze, just there is something development in the child, but there is no scale, there is no measurement scale from which we can measure the development of the child. The growth may or may not bring development. For example, a child may grow in height or weight, but this growth may not bring any functional improvement. Means if a child attaining a good height, but another child having very small height, but very small height child may be developed more than developed than that second high level or high height child. Development is a possible without growth. As I said that if the child is having very small height, then he may have more behavioral development, psychological development. They do not gain in terms of height, weight, but they do experience functional improvement and development in social, psychological, emotional, and intellectual aspects. These are the social, physical. We will discuss in next coming slides. Then what are these terms and what are the implications of these terms on education? Further, growth is physical and external, as well as development is internal, social, emotional, and intellectual. What it is written, it is hiding by this right. Yeah, growth lead structural change, whereas development is a functional improvement. Next, what is next? That is not moving. Yeah. What are the characteristics of growth? We will discuss one by one. First, we take growth and then we will discuss development. The characteristics of growth. Growth proceeds more rapidly in the early year of life. Further, the rate of growth is not uniform. If you see, then 1 year the growth will be on the size of the child will be grown up to the this size. No, it is not uniform. The growth occur at the rapid rate during the infancy stage and during adolescence stage, and the rate in these two is not same. Growth is gradual process. Growth is cumulative in nature. By cumulative, it means that the earlier stage act as the base for the later growth of the individual. What are the change that occur during childhood are the result of the abilities and skills that child acquire during the infancy stage. Growth follows definite sequence and has a predictable pattern. If you observe any child, you will find that growth follows the general pattern, especially in the development of different abilities and skills. For example, the stage of development are in the order infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and old age. All are predefined. For example, if I talk about the growth of the child, if you see, although we will discuss in next slides what is the stages of growth and how growth take place in the child. But the parents and teacher can predict the expected change that might occur at each stage, and stage we will discuss in next coming slides. As we have already discussed that growth is not uniform. The growth in every individual may different, may have several implications. There exist individual differences in growth. Yes, of course. The growth in every individual may have various these influences by heredity and this environment of the two child you are having and you are giving. If heredity is same and giving different environment, then growth will be affected. So the variation in growth of children among the same age group, if you provide a different kind of environment. So these why we need to understand the principle of growth and development. First, we should discuss. So first need is that for understanding the pattern of development. What is the pattern of development in the child? Knowing exactly what to expect from the child enables development because there are so many changes comes into the child, and as a teacher, as a psychologist, as a parents, we have to set kind of guidelines for measuring their height weight. Means we already have the height weight scale, age weight scale. There is a even kind of this what I say, there is a scale is known as Anybody knows what is the name of a scale? At that particular age, there should be age and weight should be that and height should be that. What it is? I forget the name of that particular scale. Yes, BMI. That is a kind of index. So, for understanding the pattern of development, we should know the principles of growth and development. Second is for providing appropriate learning experience. As a teacher, we should be aware what are the principles, because as a teacher, we have to nurture, we have to have provide the kind of education as stage wise. So a child must be helped to acquire age appropriate skills. If we are aware that what are the principles of growth and development, then we will be able to provide the knowledge, provide the kind of care, provide kind of this guidance to the child for their development and growth. For understanding the individual differences, yes, of course, as a teacher, we should be aware the individual what are the individual differences, because many factors make the individual differences among the child. Because of that may be genetic, even that may be based on their health, their environment, their home environment. So the understanding of these factors would also help you as a teacher to analyze the reason behind the differences between two children. Third, understanding behavior. This knowledge about the development principle will also help the teacher and parents to prepare the child psychologically for physical and behavioral change that would occur as they grown up. So these are the things why we should be aware the principles of growth. So let us discuss the what are the principles actually. So principles of growth and development. First principle is continuous development. Can anybody explain what is the continuous development?
Continuous development is a lifelong development or lifelong growth.
It is a lifelong process. Yeah. Any other?
Growth moves softly, sir.
No, I am talking the principle of continuous development.
Yes, sir.
Any other example? Any other? See, you rightly said that it is a continuous development and it starts from birth till death of the life. But what are the developments? Can anybody cite the example? Although we have discussed in previous slides.
Like a language development.
Language.
Yes, sir.
It might be, yes.
सर सर डेवलपमेंट के वेरियस एस्पेक्ट्स हैं, सोशल डेवलपमेंट, कॉग्निटिव डेवलपमेंट, इमोशनल डेवलपमेंट. तो ये सारी डेवलपमेंट जब तक हम जिंदा रहते हैं तब तक हम सीखते रहते हैं. तो ये कभी नेवर स्टॉप, नेवर एंडिंग, मतलब लर्निंग नेवर स्टॉप, कि कभी स्टॉप नहीं होते हैं.
So when we are talking about the principle of continuous development, then we are talking kind of social, kind of cognitive, kind of intellectual, kind of this emotional, even spiritual also.
Yes, sir.
Then what is the orderly sequence?
सर ये एक पैटर्न को फॉलो करते हैं कि ऐसा मतलब
Yes.
एक पैटर्न होता है डेवलपमेंट का कि बच्चा
Yes.
जो पहले इन्फेंसी स्टेज में है, फिर चाइल्डहुड में जाएगा, फिर एडोलेसेंट स्टेज में जाएगा, देन एडल्टहुड में। तो एक
बिल्कुल।
सीक्वेंस है और ये सब में यूनिवर्सल है, मतलब सब में
सभी
एक जैसा ही रहेगा।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
लेकिन स्पीड जो रेट है वो सबका डिफरेंस हो सकता है अकॉर्डिंग टू द इंडिविजुअल डिफरेंसेस।
Yeah, and that may be the kind of heredity and this
Yes.
environmental factor.
जैसे एनवायरमेंटल इफेक्ट हो सकते हैं, हेरिडिटी का हो सकता है, नेचर एंड नर्चर जो हम कहते हैं उसका इफेक्ट हो सकता है।
Yes, yes. So there are order defined in the development, that infancy, that pre-childhood, then childhood, then adult. There are, and this is the sequence. It comes a kind of defined sequence. It is not possible that childhood comes first and that this infancy will comes later. No. Sequence is there, order is there. And third is the unique of the principle of unique development. What is unique development?
सर एवरीबॉडी इज यूनिक, हर कोई एक दूसरे से डिफरेंट है।
Means if we are talking kind of individual differences, that anybody has
यस, हर कोई
kind of-
अपनी आदतों को लेकर, अपने इंटरेस्ट को लेकर, हॉबीज को लेकर, कैपेबिलिटीज को लेकर, एबिलिटीज को लेकर एक दूसरे से डिफरेंट करता है। तो हर कोई यूनिक है सर।
good. That it is also kind of interrelated.
या
तो इसको हम कैसे डिफाइन करेंगे? हाउ इट इज इंटररिलेटेड?
सर ये डेवलपमेंट आप कनेक्टेड है, सारे आज हम बात करते हैं तो एक
अगर किसी व्यक्ति में अगर किसी व्यक्ति में आप कह रहे हैं कि आप कॉग्निटिव डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, तो नॉट ओनली कॉग्निटिव, उसमें बहुत सारे डेवलपमेंट साथ ही साथ हो रहे हैं।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, उसमें सोशल डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है और कॉग्निटिव से इमोशनल डेवलपमेंट उसके अंदर हो रहा है।
यस।
तो अगर हम क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग की, लॉजिकल थिंकिंग, सब चीज की बात करते हैं तो वो सारे एक दूसरे से लिंक्ड हैं।
इट मींस all the many developments are interrelated to each other. The next is interaction of heredity and environment, and we have already discussed, and there is a big interlinkage between the heredity as well as environment, and there is a impact also, and that observable उसको हम आराम से देख सकते हैं कि हमारे हेरिडिटी का और हमारे एनवायरनमेंट का क्या कितना असर हमारा विकास पर, डेवलपमेंट पर पड़ रहा है। प्रिंसिपल ऑफ इंटरेक्शन ऑफ मैचुरेशन एंड लर्निंग, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द डेवलपमेंट एंड वी सी देयर इज ए लेवल काइंड ऑफ, वी से दैट काइंड ऑफ मैच्योरिटी, and maturity comes under by kind of experience as well as learning. One more, then general to specific response. It is a kind of if you remember when I discussed kind of inductive and deductive, so it is also based on kind of general to specific. And further development is directional, means one side directional. If we talk that the person is attaining kind of this maturity level, means it is a kind of directional, but having the this togetherness of so many traits like behavior, like their habits, even their good things, good experiences. We have already discussed that it is kind of predictability is there, but we cannot predict, but we can just analyze that how the child has been attained maturity level and or kind of experience. the principle of spiral versus linear. There are two type of development. One is spiral and second is linear. Linear means uh, one thing for towards one aspect, and spiral it having so many things that we have said that if the learner is developing in term of cognitive, then many things take place, and that is a kind of spiral. If we talk linear, then we will analyze only one aspect, which what we want to learn and how child has been developed. So these are the stages that, as I earlier said, there are several stages in the development. If we see birth to 2 year, that stage of development is known as infancy. 2 to 6 year early childhood, that we are already talking about since 1 week. 6 to 12 later childhood. 12 to 18 means kind of teenage, adolescence, and 18 to 40 young childhood, 40 to 65 mature childhood, and over 65 that is aged adulthood. As well as schooling stage also given. 0 to 2 year, there is no school age, but it take place at the home under the supervision of mother and family and other grand members also. 2 year to 6 years, early child, pre-primary also at home, at Anganwadis, at early childhood care centers like kindergarten, and so many we have discussed. Later childhood, primary education, then secondary, senior secondary, further tertiary, higher education. So we are already aware that there are two factors which is influence, which are influence growth and development, that heredity and environment. And you know, heredity is kind of inherent quality, वो किसी को दिखाई नहीं देता है वो. While environment includes so many factors which are around of the child or individual, and that we have already discussed. Around environment means that may be family environment, that may be nature, that may be kind of society, that may be school environment, peer. So it can be seen. This is the why these growth and development important for early childhood. You know, the period of infancy and early childhood have been acknowledged as the most significant time, significant level of the life of an individual. Many things rapidly he learn at infancy and early childhood level. Many things. So first few years of life influence the way of thinking and behavior of individual. The second importance is there, the rate of development in all areas like physical, cognitive, language, social, emotional, all are most rapid during this early childhood level. So first was the way of thinking and behavior take place very rapidly, and second, all kind of development is also most rapid during this early childhood care education. And thirdly, since development is a process at a very fast rate, unfavorable experiences such as lack of adequate food, nurturance and care, unhealthy living conditions, sickness, lack of interactions with adults, or other things, exploitative working conditions, these are will factors will hinder the development as a considerable extent. If the person is sick, he or she is not having kind of interaction with the peer group, with adult, and the family environment is also not good, so their development will be affected as compared to other child which are having good environment and good food, adequate food, and a kind of nurturance. So these are the importance, because early childhood is the age when child learn many things with high rate of learning. So that was the unit first. If you anybody have any question, may discuss. Otherwise, we go further. Okay. So next important topic is dimensions of human development. You know, since first day we are talking about what is human development, what is development. In this particular topic, we will discuss in detail the dimensions as well as the implications of human development on human life. Excuse me 1 minute, please. Just a minute. Yeah, there was a call. So this unit 2, we will discuss the dimensions of development. What are the dimensions of development? Distinguish between different aspects of development, importance of each aspects of development, and the applications the of the principles of development in a classroom as a teacher. So there are the 4 important subtopic. We'll discuss one by one. So this is the dimension of development first we should take. You know, the human development is a complex process that we all are aware, and it involves kind of scientific study, both qualitative and quantitative. Further development is a continuous process we have already discussed, and it is influenced by number of factors. Number of factors means that may be the kind of environment, nurturation, family, and many more. The important things, as per the topic, what are the dimensions of the development? See, there are 7 dimensions of development. One is physical development, motor development, emotional development, social development, moral development, and further development of language, or you may say the language development. Last but not least, mental development. And we will discuss all kind of dimensional development in detail. What we will discuss, what should be the role of teacher for physical development of the child, what should be the kind of curriculum, or what should be the kind of role of society as well as state as well as nation. So first comes physical development, and we will take together with motor development, because motor and physical more or less interconnected with each other. So physical development refer to those process which brings progressive change in the external as well as internal body organs. When we talk body organs, that shows that gives idea that we are talking about a kind of size and shape and height of the child, resulting increase in the ability of function properly. This is the kind of physical development. Whereas motor development refer to the development of strength, speed, accuracy of the use of muscular part of the body, and further coordination, control of the muscular movement. This is motor development. The general characteristics of physical development. There are three physical and this characteristics of physical development. One is different part of body grow at different pace. Sometimes their growth is rapid, sometimes it is slow. This difference is rhythm of growth gives rise to difference in proportion between the children of different age. So this is the first characteristics, that the body grow at ages, different ages, and it is as per the kind of even under the environmental and hereditary situation. It may be also the kind of affecting factor. The second is physical development is very rapid during infancy, that we have already talked about, that at the infancy level the physical development take place at very high speed and very rapid. The period of pre-childhood, this is also kind of important age for the development of the child. So what are the characteristics of physical development at preschool stage? I'm trying to correlating the first slide to second slide. The after birth growth in some parts such as height is more rapid, while others. At the age of 6 years, growth of these lymphoid tissues, which are concerned with the immunity, reach the adult level, and it's become double at the age of 12 years. Means kind of this growth of tissues, if the at the age of 6 year having same kind of level, some kind of level, that at the age of 12 year it will be double. But after that, then declines as the individual reach maturity. Means after reaching at the kind of maturity level, the growth will not be take place further. It may decline. Also, the neural growth is more rapid after birth, and by the age of 4, approximately 80% of neural growth is complete. In childhood, you all are aware that girls generally have less height and weight, whereas the boy at the same age, their height and their weight may be more than the girl child. Further, at 4 year age, the limbs are about 50% larger than their size at 2 years. And these limbs continue to grow from 4 to 16 years of age. If we talk about feet, increase by 40% in first 2 years of life, and then grow 50% by the age of year 4. Further deliberation, further discussion, what are the characteristics of motor development at preschool? These are the kind of characteristics Means first, if we talk 3 years old children, what they are able to perform, and they are able to manipulate play material. At the home there they can ride a tricycle, even feed itself with little spilling, throw objects overhead, make objects with clay, stand on one foot, further jump upward. So these are the activities that can be played and that can be observed, and that are the characteristics of the child of 3 year age old. If we take 4-year old children, they will be able to skip on one foot, even tie shoe laces, dress and undress, cut the line and scissors, run, board, jump. These are the stages and the kind of activities. If we talk 6-year old students, they are able to climb up ropes, throw and catch ball, and these stages as well as are given by the most of uh, this psychologist, and the most important Jean Piaget is there, Brunner is there. They have defined the motor development at their different stages, and we have taken here only preschool stages developments. So what are the educational implications? See, as a teacher, if we are aware that what kind of development take place and what age is there, so we will be able, as a teacher, we will be able to nurture our child. We will be able to provide kind of guidance and kind of mentorship to our child. So, as a teacher, if we are talking preschool level, then provide nutritious food for growing a child. Food is the important component for the grow as well as in development. So they should be encouraged to manipulate, handle, and the use of objects so as to provide opportunities for eye-hand coordination. At the all stage, objects like clay work, coloring, tearing, cutting, painting, even sieving, these all should be planned, because we are aware that at what stage student can what learn. So accordingly, we should incorporate the kind of activities through playway method and through kind of this activity base. Second is proficiency of motor skilling depend upon regular practice. For example, you can give writing text to the child on regular basis for improving their handwriting and for improving the kind of psychomotor skill in the child, among the child. Demonstration of motor skill is valuable for beginners. So parents and teachers should try to demonstrate the skill among the students to acquire and to nurture the kind of knowledge at the initial stages. Further, as you all are aware that independent activity with the kind of motivation should be given to the child for their speedy motor development. And we are talking kind of, and several philosophers has said that role of teacher, as a supervisor only. So supervision should be moderate. It should not be kind of imposed. It should be kind too friendly, that child and learners can interact, should not hesitate to ask and to share their problem. Otherwise, children may get irritated due to boredom or and also due to lack of reinforcement or kind of motivation. So teacher should be at the position of supervisor only. These are the factor. Sorry, this is education implication. Yeah, these are the factors which are affecting emotional development. Children who are weak in structure or who suffer from occasional illness are more emotional. Whereas the children having good environment and good health are better in their emotional development. Pupil with reasoning and sharp intelligence can check sudden rise of emotions. Similarly, under emotional experiences, reasoning and thinking power of decrease. Means there are two categories. One as having good environment, good kind of food, nutrient. So their intelligence or emotional development also different. Healthy relationship between the parents and children, as well as emotional development also. You know, family is the most important environment for the growth of child, for the development of the child. So where family environment is good, that emotional stability also take place among the children. You know, school is also one important factor, and in school there are so many things. Means teacher is there, their peer group is there, or the discipline of school is there, academic facility is there, physical facility, even furniture, and what is the method of teaching, what are the co-curricular activities. These all influence the emotional development of the child. And there is a great influence of classmate also. Yes, they are peer, and from the peer and classmate, if the person is interacting with their classmate and peer group, definitely their emotional development will be higher than other child which are not having interaction with the peer group. So emotional development of the child is influenced by factor operating in social environment also. You know, the brave community is sure to produce fearless, courageous children, whereas the children grow in emotionally polarized community, show emotional instability and emotional susceptibility. So social conditions, social environment also influence the child in their emotional development. So what should be the role of teacher? As a teacher, what is our role for emotional development of the child? See, as emotional development depend on the physical and psychological conditions of learner. Not only physical and psychological, even environmental and heredity. So home atmosphere also exercise good influence that we have already discussed on the emotional development of the child. Therefore, the teacher should seek the active cooperation of the parent in making the atmosphere at the home for the proper emotional development. So teacher should be touch in touch with the parent of the child for improving and for kind of be a part of emotional development of the child. Further, the interpersonal relationship in the school should be such a way that it should be provide emotional security and sense of belongingness to the children. Therefore, pre-primary school teachers should try to help each child. You know that if the teacher is aware that even the name of students, then students also feel good and feel emotionally strong that yes, my teacher know me, and therefore he or she share all issues, all the problems with their teachers. So teacher, it is the duty of teacher to provide good environment to the child in their classroom. Otherwise, the child will be kind of introvert and his or her development will be affected. Children should be encouraged to participation in diversified co-curricular activities. As we said that this psychomotor and motor development also take place for the further development. If one development is, if we are trying to develop one kind of trait, one kind of quality among the child, then many development will take place. So when we are developing the psychomotor, so their emotional, their intellectual level also increase and developed with the other developments. So it is the duty of the teacher that he or she should encourage the child to participate in various co-curricular activities, but it should be based on the interest of the child. The preschool teacher should adopt dynamic and progressive method of teaching by incorporating lots of play and activity that we have already have deliberated discussion, and we have aware that a teacher should use the kind of playway and activity method. Otherwise, students does not get a chance to express their feeling and thoughts. Children should be taught the importance of respecting elders. That's why this order is also order of the family is also means it is the duty of parents as well as teacher. Then we should tell the child that these are your elder, so should provide the respect, and these are your youngest, so he or she should express the kind of love and care to their elders, sorry, youngest. The moral and religious education also take place for their emotional development of the child. So teacher should tell stories, pictures that have directly impact on the learner for their emotional development. So this is about what is the role of teachers in emotional development. And second is social development. We have discussed this physical as well as motor development. This is third one. Third is social development. The abilities of a socially adjusted, which help the students to strike a successful relation with the society. And these are the abilities, means willingness to cooperate with others ability to tolerate view of others, to have respect for various social group, ability to adjust with people and make friend, developing a sense of belongingness and enjoying social acceptance. Why we are talking about these social development? Because it also developed together with the kind of physical and motor development, and these are the ability which have to have be inculcated among the child. Means he should have kind of willingness to cooperate with others, even to the good quality of a human being. 3S: speak, silence, and sometimes should be suggestive. These are the kind of social behavior pattern with the age of child. Means during first month, he or she cannot differentiate between human voice and other voice. If the voice is coming in the near to the child, then he or she will not be able he or she will not be able to differentiate then what it is voice, what is the kind of voice. In the second month, the child recognizes the sounds of human being and even gives a smile. He started recognition of the voice of mothers and fathers, and in third month recognize its mothers and feel unhappy for own separation. If even in fourth month he shows the kind of unhappiness and happiness by showing the face expressions. So these are the kind of durations. Fifth month he react smiling and scolding. 6 to 7 month he recognize other family members and smiles and shows expressions. In eighth and ninth he try to speak something, but kind of simple. Between 10 to 12 months attempts to intimate, and at the age of 2 year the child can operate with adults in a number of routine activity means fear, love, smile, speaking, and becomes an active member of the society. But it is a kind of standardized form. The development in the social behavior of every child have individual capacity. Even at the age of 2 years, the child may earn many social behavior pattern. So what are the factors which affect the social development? You all are aware the factors are family, parents, peer group, school, further society and culture. So I think no need to discuss in detail. We have discussed in earlier slides. But of course, family, as you all are aware, family is the first school of the child and mother is the first teacher of the child. For the socialization of the child and for developing the many traits, many behavioral, many emotional, many physical, many psychological development. What is good, what is bad, that all learned by the learner, by the child in the family only. So the environment of the family should be kind of good and as well as kind of learningful, peaceful. There should be a kind of love between all the family members. Peer group is also school also take place a important role for the social development of the child. We have discussed in detail in last previous sessions. Third is moral development. What is moral development? Moral जो term है, that is defined, that is derived from the Latin words mores, and that means manner, custom, folkway. Therefore, moral development of the child implies inculcation in the child of number of qualities for which curriculum provides ample opportunities, and moral development refer to the development of moral behavior as well as moral concepts. So for moral development, means if we talk about the moral, that it refer kind of customs, kind of the traditions of the family, kind of the manners of the family, even kind of the this even hereditary traits also. So, what should be the role of teachers for moral development of the child? The child learn moral behavior through identification and intimation. So, parents and teachers should serve as a good model. Further basic concepts of moral development. These also can be inculcated through direct teaching, means kind of value education. Good mental health practices, use of reinforcement means kind of motivation, individualized learning, opportunity for success and achievements, etc. These qualities also can help the students for developing their positive concept and desirable and moral behavior. So, as a teacher, we should stress moral qualities like love, sacrifice, self control, truthfulness, and uprightness while teaching. If a teacher is a role model, then he should be a good human being also. Moral values may be inculcated as we have discussed through stories and poems. And there are so many stories should be taught at this pre-child carehood level education, like Panchtantra is there, even Gitosphere, Ramayana, Mahabharata stories. They also be very useful for the moral development of the child. Even various biography of great men like APJ Abdul Kalam, like so many other great leaders, their biographies also take place. Very good or important role for the development of morals. Further, this is the language development. When we talk about language development, then it's indicate speech, vocabulary, and length of responses, even importance of various aspects. So this is the kind of language development, and the most important vocabulary of the children is the initial stage when he start to learn language. There are so many other gestures like crying, this weeping, smiling. These are the important form of pre-speech communication. As you see, the mother interacts with the child while performing several kind of sort of day-to-day activities. Sometimes He called the child with love. Sometimes he uh, called the child with kind of guidance. Please don't do that. So these all occurs gradually improvement in the languages. So these are the following steps: means feeble gesture and sounds, babbling, use of simple spoken vocabulary. Then he started to speak one word sentence, then combination of one or two sentences, and thereafter is development of the skill in the reading and further improved mastery of the tools of communication. So these are the steps which take place in the language development of the child. First, he starts feeble gesture and sounds, then babbling, then he started to use some kind of vocabulary, then he start to make one sentences, then combination of one or two sentences. So these are the steps of language development. Further language developments is also depend on the age. You know, at the age of when a child take birth, the language is practically absent. In 4 week, very small sounds noticed by the child, and these are the stages. You know, around 28, he start babbling. Around 40 week, then he or she start to say one words like papa, mama, which are near to the child. Around 52 week, he try to uh, combine one or two sentences. So these are the age. Around 5 years, the child speak without infantile articulation. This is about the kind of language development based on the age of the child. Next is, what are the factors influencing language development? Yes, there are factors are two. So one is imitation of the language used by parents. Means at home, if the language used by parents in good manner, that have another implication of the child. If the rough language is being used at the family members and adults, so implications will be kind of different. Other cultural factor also influence the language development. Even environment, you already aware about that environmental factors also. Environment means kind of society, which society he or she belongs. Therefore language will also be same. Even degree of maturity, and these are the kind of cognitive factors. Even degree of and this level of intelligence, even physical condition of the child, this also influence the language development. If the student is physically not developed, so their language will also be affected somehow. Not every time, but somehow. Even number of children in the family, this is also having impact on the, means if the members are more than the language development of the child will differ, where the numbers are very less and very short families there. Socio-economic condition of the family, yes, of course, these are the two factors which also impact the language development. Even child emotional development, if the child of kind of introvert, if he has kind of good vocabulary in his mind, but he will not be able to speak more because he is introvert. Child is emotionally introvert. Whereas if it is extrovert, then he will always be eager to speak. Teacher is also, if the teacher's language competency This is also important factor. So as a teacher, when you are using, when you are teaching in the classroom, then you should be very careful for using the word and sentences. Even one more important, bilingual. This also impact, influence the languages. So teacher, parents, even peer group should use a kind of good language, but it may be bilingual, no issue. Even we are, if you see the recommendation of this NEP 20, then they are talking about that there should be a kind of three language formula. One is Hindi, English, and your regional language should also be given more stress upon for develop the language among the child. Next is intellectual development. As we have already discussed, that all the development are interlinked. So process of intellectual development refer to the development of abilities and capabilities which help the individual to adjust his or her behavior, and that change because of environment condition. So there are two factors that we have already able. There are two factors which influence the intellectual development also: environment and heredity. If we see the table, this is the height and weight, means at what age, what should be the child, what should be the height of child, and what should be the weight. As I already discussed in the previous, that this is the kind of BMI. These are the parameters for assessing the growth and development. Means at the 4 month, the height of the child should be 61 centimeter, or you must say 24 inch. The weight should be 6.4 kg. At the age of 2 years, he or she should attain 84 to 94 centimeter height, and even weight should be 11.3 to 12.7 kg. And these are the developmental tasks at preschool stage. Preschool stage means early childhood education level. So at this particular level, these are the development tasks, means learning to take solid food, learning to walk. आप देखते होंगे आपके परिवार में जब बच्चा छोटा होता है तो उसको फिंगर होल्ड करके, हाथ पकड़ के उसको वॉक कराते हैं अपने साथ. इवन कई बार हम लोग चॉकलेट देके, यस प्लीज कम टू मी, एंड ही ट्राई टू स्टैंड अप एंड ही वॉक वेरी स्लोली. Learning to control the elimination of body wastage, means kind of toilet habits should be given to the child. Learning sex, means he is male and she is female. So differences of the child of the this gender also be taught and also be given kind of sort of knowledge to the child. Getting ready to read, this is also a very important developmental task and which should be take place in the school. Learning to establish emotional relationship with brother, sister, and elders, and even all the family members. And the foremost, learning to distinguish between what is right and wrong means value education should be given to the preschool child for developing various abilities, various psychological as well as emotional as well as cognitive development. So that was a unit. So I think time is going very fast. So we should go very quickly. This is the unit 3, interactive role of heredity and environment on growth and development. And in this particular topic, we will discuss what are the importance of heredity and environment for the child, what are the environmental factors, and what should be the activity according to the development need of the child. Sorry. Yes, so we should go very quickly. Yeah, heredity. We all are aware what is the meaning of heredity. So should just memorize and repeat that heredity is the mechanism by which all traits are inherited by offspring from his or her parents. Means kind of transfer of traits, genes. All transfers take place by the even by the help of gene. Means gene is the medium as well as even chromosomes also. There are two type of heredity. One is biological heredity and second is social heredity. Biological means kind of genes, and social heredity means kind of, if you see, then one particular area having some kind of heredity means their what would I say, the height of the entire society. So this is the kind of social heredity. If you go in various state, you will find different kind of heights of the complete society. For example, if you go to kind of Haryana and this J&K, then you will find the peoples are taller. And if you go in other part of the country, then you will find the height of the human beings is not as such as it is in other places. So this called social heredity. You know, Very important, very good question. Then how twins are formed? if you are from biological science, then you must be aware. Twins means two human bodies which are identical, and scientific name is monozygotic, and it happen when the this biological process take place, means kind of this egg fertilized in two part, and so twins take place. Next, there are both term heredity and environment. Both are having very important role for the growth and development of the child. And there are two kind of philosopher, one hereditarian, then second is environmentalist, and which try to prove always that development is because of heredity, and one and another is try to prove that no, environment is the main factor for the development of the child. And both are true, because both are important for the development as well as growth of the child. Next, these are the kind of deliberation, kind of detail, and comparing between heredity and environment. If we talk about physical growth and development, means because of heredity, height, bodily frames, structure of body, all are determined by the genes. And if we take example of environment for physical and growth and development, so all aspects which are influenced by the environment, means kind of proper nutrition, care, these all are having high impact for the development and growth of the child. If the child is lacking with the care, proper nutrition, so he or she may be badly affected for their growth as well as development. If we talk mental development, yes, it comes through genes also, but all traits and aptitudes may be got through the genes, but cannot be flourished if the proper environment is not there. So, for the mental development, if it is coming through genes, so the role of environment is also important for kind of flourishing, for kind of polishing, for kind of bring out from the child. Mental and emotional health, the role of heredity for mental health is very wider. Why? Because it also depends on the kind of genes. But similarly, the healthful family atmosphere, means environment, if it is not there, the mental and emotional health will also be affected. Further, attitude and beliefs as well as values. This is also kind of inbuilt within the child, and because of the genes and chromosomes. But as earlier defined, that the role of environment for the kind of loss polishing and for kind of bring out. So aptitude and values and beliefs, these also develop largely from the culture. Means these are the influenced by even personal and family involvement for the development of the child. So this is the basic difference between interlinkage between heredity and environment. So this is from today's discussion. If anything you would like to discuss, would like to interact, floor is open for you. Yeah. Anybody, please? Mandeep Kaur, yeah. Would you like to ask something?
Sir, may I?
Yeah, please, please.
Sir, actually, on Saturday I was not able to attend the session. Can I get the slides for that
See,
particular
all,
part that
all.
you taught?
See. Have you seen the website of Regional Center Chandigarh?
No, sir.
All the videos, not only that, whatever the being taught through this online platform,
Yeah.
all the videos, all the PPTs are available on RC website.
Okay, okay. I
So
will go
please
through
go
it.
there.
Okay.
If not found, then we are all together for 3-4 days further. So we will
Okay.
discuss later.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. I will go through it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Same to you.
Good day to all.
Thank you, sir.